George Orwell was a novelist, essayist, and critic best known for his novel Animal Farm, 1984. He was a man of strong opinions who addressed some of the major political movements of his times, including imperialism, fascism, and communism. In 1946, he published Animal Farm. It is a lively satire of the Soviet regime, with which it achieved international success. In 1949, his novel of Anticipation, and in 1984 appeared, in which he presents a picture of the future world in an ideal extension of the line of Soviet communism led to its most devastating consequences. And in the opinion of some of his critics, Orwell's importance mainly in the frankness and farsightedness with which he deals with social police issues. Animal Farm was an 80s Soviet satire in a pastoral setting featuring two pigs as its main protagonists. These pigs were said to represent Joseph Stalin and Leon Trotsky, and the novel brought Orwell with acclaim and financial rewards. And Lenin would be represented by the character of the old pig mayor, just as Marx advocated the creation of a non-capillary system, and Mayer wants to create anti-human system. And just like Lenin, Mayer would be the ideology of the revolution. Although, like Lenin himself, he is not quite sure when the revolution will take place. My friend is a dystopian fable that is a type of imaginary world recreated in literature that explores a current reality with the intention of anticipating the society of unjust and cruel systems. And the dystopia warns about the potential dangers of the ideologies, practice, and behaviors that govern our current societies, such as socialism, capitalism, state control, consumerism, technological dependence, and others.
Communism. What is communism? Communism is a political, economic, and social doctrine that aims at the equality of social classes through the elimination of private property. Progression of the novel Animal Farm see audience engage in critical self-judgment of the inevitable conversion of communist government into totalitarian regimes, of the necessity of duplicity recruitment to run out communist schematic. Our basis theme of his hatred for communist leaders through characterizing Napoleon and the things as caning through manipulated leaders. Being an allusion to Soviet leaders at the time, they hint in demonstrating the danger of communist nations' eventuality into totalitarian regimes. The pinks represent the leaders of Russian Revolution, and the animals are implicitly the human capitalist system with their communist system. The animal revolution is supposed to parallel the Russian Revolution in creating a allegorical way. The allegory suggests that capitalism can be a corrupt system as is under the leadership of Mr. Jones. The allegory also suggests that communism is easily corrupted as well as is under Napoleon and his historical double, Stalin. So, the novel is not simplicity and indictment communism. It's more broad and shows how any citizen can be manipulated and destroyed. The final science illustrates this idea there is no difference between the capitalists and communists. They're humans and the pinks respectively. The animals' communist revolutions becomes they abandon its ideals. Now, Soviet Union. While Animal Farm condemns some sort of totalitarian system explicitly a bitter attack of the Soviet Union. Through our supported the ideas of socialism, he straightened opposed the Soviet Union's descent into totalitarians under Stalin the decades before and during World War II. Animal Farm strategically attacks the Soviet Union by mirroring many events from Soviet history, and through Animal Farm is subtitled A Fairy History. Almost nothing that happens in it's all fantastical, nearly every event and even every character correlates to historical event, person, or group of people. On the other hand, the Soviet Union is a state between 1917 and 1991, a country in Europe and Asia whose full name was the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, or the USSR. The Soviet Union was the largest country in the world and was made up of 15 republics, the most important of which was Russia. It was formed after the Russian Revolution in 1917 as communist state led by Lenin. Now I told to you about proletariat. In the book Animal Farm, the animals represent the proletariat. The working classes thus are supposed to make the transition to the next stage of history. On the other hand, the proletariat is the term used to designate the social class which the capitalist mode of production lacks control over the means of production and over distribution, and is forced to sell its labor force in exchange for a wage. At certain moments in history, the proletariat has resigned a voice and demanded and who demands for better working conditions. At times, it has even made revolution and seized political power, as the history of the creation of the Soviet Union of the 1917 revolution tells us.
Olmeyer is the animal version of Lenin, the leader of the Bolshevik party that seized control in the 1917 revolution. As Olmeyer outlines the principles of animalism, a theory holding that all animals are equal and must revolt against their oppressor. Lenin was inspired by Karl Marx's theory of communism, which urged the workers of the world to unite against their economic oppressors. The powerful Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin was portrayed by the big name Napoleon. Napoleon was the leader of the Manor Front, which was named Animal Farm after the revolution occurred. In the novel, Animal Farm was the allegory of the Russia in history. Napoleon and Stalin were similar in many ways. Both leaders portrayed the idea of communism in his leadership role, and Stalin was one of the most notorious dictators of Russia, whilst Napoleon was considered as the best leader of Animal Farm, and his followers believed that anything he did was correct, just as Stalin was idolized within the Russian population. One of Lenin's allies was Leon Trotsky, another Marxist thinker who participated in a number of revolutionary demonstrations and uprisings. His counterpart in Animal Farm is Snowball, who, like Trotsky, felt that a worldwide series of rebellions was necessary to achieve the revolution's ultimate aims. Snowball's plans for the windmill and programs reflect Trotsky's intellectual character and ideas about the best ways to transform Marx's theories into practice. Numerous events in the novel are based on ones that occurred during Stalin's rule. The Battle of Koshchei parallels the Civil War that occurred after the 1917 revolutions. Johann Frederick represents Adolf Hitler, who forged an alliance with Stalin in 1939, but who then found himself 15 Stalin's army in 1941. And Frederick seems like an ally of Napoleon's, but his forged banknotes reveal his true character, and the confessions and executions of the animals reflect the various perks and show trials that Stalin conducted to rid himself of any possible threat of dissension.
Boxer is the mimesis of the rich exploited, the strong but often ignorant working class. Even if pinks are the subject of the hardships satire, at times you can't help but wonder how much responsibility who plays on the proletariat in that recent situation. After all, it was that force that allowed the Russian Revolution to ripen in 1917. Through characters like Boxer, it's clear that the narrator has little respect for the intelligence of the common man of that time and demonstrates him to a fan of the Soviet regime. After all, as admirable and spirit as Boxer's character is without stupidity and strength, the Pinks could never have come to power. Ship and Stanley's Russia. As allegorical figures, ships represent the massive propaganda machines that Stanley shipped up when he comes to power in Russia. Preference, they can also represent the masses who were easily swayed back and forth by the same propaganda. The ships adherent to simplicity and respectability slogan seems to destroy any possibility of the independent truth and allow Napoleon to manipulate the rest of the animals over and over again. For these reasons, the ships seem to be commentary of the very nature of propaganda. It's not clear when it begins and where it ends, but those who received it without thinking and also spreading it become part of the totalitarian regime, whether they are aware of it or no.